Hey guys, Kevin Smart for Fear the Walking Dead Season 1, Episode 4, Not Fade Away. And this episode was very different than the first 3 episodes we've seen in the show. Some people actually said this kind of felt like a second season premiere, and I could definitely see that. I mean, this episode had no walkers in it whatsoever. It basically just focused on human interaction and how they're all dealing with basically Earth completely falling apart. You know, the apocalypse happening and everything. Because at this point, you know, the apocalypse is happening, the world is falling apart. I mean, it's just not safe anymore, and it's very interesting to watch. It was a very sad episode. Some huge things happened in this episode, and it was by far the best of the season, just because it didn't focus on any walkers, but it was so intense. There was so much going on. I really love this episode, and I can't wait to see how the final 2 episodes play out. There are only 2 episodes left, and I can't wait to see what happens. So let's just get into this episode. So we start off right away, and we see that Nick is in a pool, and we get a montage of this song called Such a Perfect Day playing, and Travis is jogging down the street and waves to a neighbor, and Daniel cares for Griselda, and Chris films the neighborhood from the roof, and houses are burnt down. People are leaving because obviously they want to get out of there. He describes that people were forced east, and he and his family are safe inside the face. So basically, they're in this safe house right now, and the lights have been out 9 days. They're stuck inside the fence under the Army's rule, and basically, Chris spots a light from a distant window and is intrigued, and the clock ticks as Madison watches, and she tells Alicia they have to repaint the dining room, and Travis enters and looks at the clock with Madison, and basically, I thought that was a good way to start the episode. With that, I definitely enjoyed seeing that. But basically, at this point, they're in this safe house. You know, there's no power. The Army is basically controlling their every move at this point because obviously they want to help them. So the clock ticks as Madison watches, and she tells Alicia they have to repaint the dining room, and Travis enters and looks at the clock with Madison, confident the power will come on despite being late, and the power does come on, and Madison talks about how she wants her house back, and you can see there's a lot of conflict between them. Alicia she does not want to hear it. She tells them to stop a domestic bickering as if everything's normal because it's just not, and they need to stop acting like, you know, nothing has changed, and they need to understand that this is a dangerous situation, that there simply just isn't time for bickering, and I like that she made them stop, because honestly, yeah, they need to not bicker, because there's just no time for that. You know, people are dying. This is not normal. They're in a very dangerous situation, and they're just not really understanding, and I like that Alicia's putting them in their place, and I think it's interesting that the daughter is putting them in their place and not the parents. That's something that I really like seeing on this show. So, on the roof, Chris uses a mirror to signal the house far away, and Travis then approaches Chris, who's eager to show him the light and believes someone is out there. They don't know who it is, though. So Travis quickly shuts him down, insisting there is no one out there, because he pretty much feels they're safe there. And yeah, and I know a lot of people are hating on Travis's character, but like I told you guys, Travis just has morals. You know, he's not used to what's going on, and I mean, just think about it. It just doesn't seem logical, and he wants to think of a more logical reason and wants to think that they're going to get out of this in a, you know, civil way, but he doesn't really fully understand what's going on yet. Remember, this is just the beginning for them, so people are hating on Travis, but honestly, I'm not hating on him because I understand why he's reacting the way he is. He's obviously freaking out. He doesn't know what's going on. I completely understand it. I think that's completely justifiable in my mind. So Nick is in the pool, and Madison offers Nick a pill she found on the counter, and he doesn't want to take it. He'd rather give it to Griselda, and Madison wants him to be careful and take the pill so he can do this, you know, slowly, but he just doesn't really seem interested in that. So, obviously, that's not working well for them. And we really get into Nick's drug problems in this episode. We really get into that. So the commanding officer of the detachment announces that the people inside the fence are infection-free, and people are questioning him, but he will only read them the note he has been given. They're not moving or allowed to leave the fenced-in area, and they are one of 12 safe zones in the area. And it has to make you wonder, what the hell is going on behind that fence? Because obviously behind that fence is danger, and you have to think that somehow they're going to break that fence. They're going to get out of there. I don't see them being there for very long. You know, if we learned anything from The Walking Dead, it means when someone's in a safe area, they're not there for long. And I feel like this show is going to definitely be the same way. So Alicia and Ophelia talk to a soldier who's flirting with Ophelia, and Ophelia gets some really good character development in this episode. We actually get a lot more from her, and the commanding officer calls Travis aside. The neighbor won't go through the screening, and his wife believes Travis can't help. It's either that or the CO takes him down, and basically soldiers line the edge of the property, and I mean, they're just trying to do what's right. That really is what they're trying to do here, and they need to understand that. So in the house, Travis talks to his neighbor's wife, and she tells him her husband has been acting strange since last night. The kids color in hazmat gear, and she doesn't know why her husband is acting strange. So in the kitchen, Travis enters Doug's room and can't find him. He checks the bathroom, finds Doug, a sad, berated man, sitting by the bathtub, and Travis says that he doesn't think he can do it. And Alicia then brings the supplies back to her house, and Doug is very uneasy, and Travis assures him everything's going to be okay, and Doug needs to act that way for his family, and basically Alicia then is snooping around outside and sneaks into a neighboring house, the one from last week's episode, and she sees the empty pill bottle and coffee cup on the table before entering the bedroom and analyzing a drawing on the wall. And she reads a note and gets emotional before looking at what's left of the spiral heart in her forearm, which her boyfriend Matt drew, which leads me to believe that Matt is either dead or he's in very critical condition. Clearly there's something going on with him that's making her very upset, and they don't really get into that in this episode, because I really feel that while Alicia's upset, she knows, you know, which Travis and Madison don't, that she has to put that aside and focus on, you know, the situation that they're in. She can't worry about Matt because she has a brother to worry about. She has a mother to worry about. She has a you know, she has her mom's boyfriend to worry about. She has other people that she needs to worry about, so she just needs to put that all aside, and that's really why I love Alicia's character. Alicia, I have to say, is slowly becoming my favorite character on the show, because the thing I love about her is while she does, you know, have morals, she needs to put those aside, and that's what I really like about her character. So Travis leaves Doug, whose blood pressure is being taken by a soldier, and Liza leaves a man and his wife, and basically leaves a man and his wife offers Liza the chance to stay. And when Liza declines the offer, the woman offers Liza food as a thank you. And as Liza leaves, Nick hops out of the pool and watches her, and the neighboring woman then walks outside and puts garden gloves on. And Chris tries to convince Madison that someone needs her help, and Madison tries to convince him otherwise, but is being persuaded by Nick that someone is out there, and they pretty much think that there's someone there. So the man Liza was helping has a very raspy breath, and Nick hides under his bed with the morphine drip hooked into his food, and he doesn't know why the morphine is there, but it's there. And Ophelia and the soldier from earlier, they're fooling around the back of the Humvee, and he ignores a call to continue, and Ophelia wants to slow down. He confesses a liking for her, and basically tells her that she's the only thing that makes him think that there's still good in people, and she asks if he got the medicine. He couldn't get it. He answers the call and says he's heading back, and basically what I like about, you know, you can tell that obviously Liza wants, you know, you can tell that Ophelia wants her mother to get this medicine. That's what her goal is here. And I like that Ophelia's trying to take things slow with this soldier because she doesn't know how things are going to end well, you know, how things are going to end for them. You know, he could die, things could end badly. So I like that she's trying to take this as slow as possible. I definitely like seeing that. So Travis and Madison finish having sex in the car, and Madison quickly dresses herself and starts to leave, and Travis wants her to stay, but she opens up about being bothered by the word of quarantine camps, because obviously they have no control. It's all what the army tells them to do, and she obviously does not like that. She likes to be in control, and she's not. And Travis is then holding a bottle of whiskey as to what is more specifically wrong, and the two start criticizing the way they're handling their kids, and Madison tells Travis she saw what Chris saw in the video, and Madison wants people to get help, whoever's out there, and she's questioning the soldiers, and Travis then trusts the soldiers, though, you know, he actually trusts the soldiers. He thinks they're doing a good thing. And a woman calls for Travis from outside, and Doug's wife then tells Travis that Doug is missing, and she's frantic, and Travis signs up to find Doug. So the next morning, Travis sees Doug's car near the fence, and Madison flashes a flashlight toward the light Chris saw, and someone shines back. So obviously, there's someone out there and they don't know who it is. So later, a soldier gulps in the middle of the street, and he tells Travis he found Doug the night before, and Travis disagrees with the CO's call to remove Doug from the safe zone, but it's probably the right thing to do because Doug's probably infected. That probably is what's going on with him, is that he was infected and something's happened, and again, Travis doesn't fully understand it. That's the thing I've said, that we as an audience, of course, we know what's going on, but Travis doesn't. This Doug is probably infected, and he's probably very slowly going to turn into a walker. That probably is going to happen. So it probably is a good idea to get him out of that safe zone because they obviously don't, it's a safe zone. They don't want walkers in the safe zone. And Travis tells the CEO that Chris saw a light, but the CEO insisted there's nothing out there and that he's just simply seeing things. So something weird is going on there. We don't really know what it is, but there's something going on. So Liza enters the neighbor's house looking for Cynthia, and she finds a made bed where Hector was being kept, and Cynthia brings a new doctor in from the government who moved Hector, and the woman urges Liza to sit and wants to speak privately. And Cynthia's going back so she can see her husband, and Liza questions where Hector is, but the new doctor dodges all of her questions, and the doctor calls Liza out about lying about being a doctor and wants her to pretend a little longer. She can tell that Liza's not a doctor, and you know, Liza really needs to find her place because it's a doctor. The doctor knows what she's doing, and Liza really doesn't. That's really what it seems like is going on with that, and I think that definitely is very interesting. So Madison dashes across the street, hiding from soldiers. She clips the fence and exits the perimeter, and Madison finds shrines and missing posts covered with pictures, and she runs through another neighborhood and gets sick with the smell of dead bodies, which line the streets and sidewalks, all with gunshots in their head, and a caravan approaches and hides under the car next to a dead body, and Liza and the doctor are caring for Griselda. The doctor wants to take Griselda to a new military facility, and Daniel wants to go with her to this place, which is 15 minutes away, and he tells his upset wife to not have fear, and I think that really goes with just the show in general and The Walking Dead. The one thing you can't have is fear. You know, even though you have that fear of, are we going to be attacked by walkers? Is something bad going to happen to us? Are we going to make it? You have to put that aside because this is a world where you just can't have morals. And that's why I really love Daniel as a character, because he clearly understands the world. And again, that's really why I feel like Daniel's been through a lot more than we think. And I don't really know what he has been through, but there definitely is more that he's been through that we just don't know about. So Dr. Exner and Liza approach Nick. She questions him in his habit, and Travis is happy to see her. He questions her as she examines Nick and his blood pressure, and Daniel looks on from inside. And inside, Alicia uses a needle to permanently engrave Matt's spiral heart into her forearm. And I thought that was sweet that she did that because she obviously, I think that pretty much shows that Matt is probably dead and that he probably is going to turn into a walker. But I think she needs that because she needs him to be with her. You know, he's the thing that really keeps her sane, keeps her from going crazy. And everyone kind of has that. And to Alicia, that's Matt because obviously she cares about Nick. She cares about Travis and Madison. But her life is just so complicated that, again, Matt is really what keeps her sane. And if he's dead, then that's the worst thing that could happen to her. And she needs to stay with him. Even if she never sees him again, she needs to have a part of him with her somehow. And I thought that was very sweet. And I really love that scene. So Madison comes inside and Daniel asks where she went and what she saw, and she tells him that she bodies, and she says there was a man shot like the others, but he wasn't sick, and there were others like that. And Daniel then begins to tell a story from his youth and how the government came and took, and this really explains what happened to Daniel, you know, what he's going through, and I really like seeing this. And he tells a story from his youth and how the government took people away. And Daniel's father questioned their return, but he was assured that they would return, and they did return. And he went on to tell Madison that in the form of bodies in the river, and Daniel's father told him not to have hatred in his heart. And basically, Daniel wants Madison to be prepared. So clearly, yes, Daniel has dealt with this before. He's seen these walkers before, and I was very happy we saw that, which I did predict, and I like that they showed that, because I could clearly tell that Daniel is definitely not shocked by this. He has experienced this before, and that really shows that he has, and I thought that was definitely very interesting. So basically, he plans to go with Griselda, and if he doesn't return, he needs Madison to look after Ophelia for him, and he says to keep her son close, because obviously, if she doesn't keep her son close, something bad could happen to him, and that's obviously not going to be a good thing in the long run. So Daniel seems like, again, like I said, he's the one that definitely you need to listen to the most. So Madison obviously knows what he's been through, so she's going to listen to him. So outside, Madison starts toward Nick, who's raiding a neighbor's room for drugs. And, he, at this point, he needs drugs. It's getting to him, and she walks in looking fierce, smacks him repeatedly, beats him into the corner, and she's going to do what Daniel told her to do. She's going to put her foot down and do what she needs to do. So Alicia tries to enter Nick's room, asks what happened to his face, but he locks her out, and Travis tries to help her, but Alicia claims to have it under control. He walks away, and she threatens to get their mom, which forces him to concede, and candlelight illuminates their face, because obviously, remember, the lights are out, so she questions what happened to his face, and he's sad and humbled, and you can just tell that this addiction, it's getting to him. He can't take it anymore, and he just can't get away from it. That's how it is with drugs. You can't get away from it. And outside, Madison is stressed and sitting in the car, and Travis looks on outside. They hear a truck, and the soldiers begin to haul Griselda out, led by Liza. The soldiers want to take Nick, and he runs away before getting hit with the butt of a gun, and chaos ensues in the house. Daniel tries to fight the soldiers, but is knocked down, and Travis diffuses the situation. The soldiers haul him away, and Liza tries to convince Dr. Exner to let Nick stay, but she tells Liza to get in the truck and help at the hospital, and she looks to the window at Chris and says, "I'll be back, I love you," gets on the truck, and basically Liza and Nick are taken away. Madison runs after the truck as it pulls away with Liza on the back, and the soldiers won't let her out of the yard. And again, the soldiers think they know what they're doing. You know, they think that Nick is, they think that Nick is infected, and he's not, obviously. So, they took him away, and he's not infected. This is not going to end well for Nick or Liza. One of them, they're not going to make it. Definitely one of them, they're going to die. I could definitely see that happening. I mean, we've seen The Walking Dead. They've killed off many characters before, and I definitely see that happening for Fear the Walking Dead. So, obviously, she's gone right now, and Madison then re-enters the house where Chris is storming off, and she's blaming Liza for this, which I don't fully understand why she's blaming Liza, but she is, and Madison then tells Travis, and basically Madison tells Travis this, and Daniel isolates himself in another room. He has no idea what's going to happen now because they're not going to let him go away, and Madison then storms the garage, locks herself in, and she needs some time alone because she knows that she might never see her son again. He might be gone for good, and Travis stands defeated by the window, and Alicia then reads a letter to Patrick. Patrick is, you know, their neighbor, if you remember, and she's apologizing if he finds it. It is narrating her suspicions of witnessing the rapture, and basically Travis cries on the roof, sees the light, which Liza and Chris previously did, followed by gunshots, and basically we are to presume that the military probably shot this person. They don't want them to know that they're there, and clearly there's something else that the military is doing, and what they're doing we don't know, but I think that definitely is very interesting. So overall, guys, this was an amazing episode. Like I said, no walkers in this entire episode, but it was probably the most intense episode we've seen in the show so far. I mean, last week's episode was very intense, but this week's episode was even more intense because now we have this army that seems like they're doing the right thing, but there's clearly something more going on there. I mean, I think what they're doing is they're taking out people that are sick, and then they're just killing them. I think that's really what's going on here, is that if someone feels sick, they just kill them, and that's what I think is going to happen there. So Nick, I feel, is really in danger, as is Liza. One of them are definitely not going to make it, and we'll have to see what happens with that. That definitely is going to be very interesting. Now, let's talk about Daniel. Is Daniel going to be able to save Griselda? I really don't know at this point. Obviously, they planned on getting Griselda out of there, but now they took Nick and Liza away. I don't think Griselda's safe now. I don't think Daniel's going to be able to help out Griselda like he wants to. Griselda, I don't see things going well for them, which really sucks because I really like Griselda as a character and I want her to live, but it doesn't seem likely for that to happen. So I don't see things going well for her at all. I really am liking Alicia as a character, I have to say. I really like what they did with her in this episode. Is Matt dead? I don't know, but I like that she is trying to keep that part of Matt, even though she knows that he might be gone. She's trying to keep him in her thoughts, and that she needs Matt in her life. He's her moral compass. He's the thing that keeps her sane, and she needs him, and I think that definitely is going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. Is Doug infected? That's really what I want to know. Is Doug infected? Who was there? You know, obviously there was someone there, but the army didn't acknowledge it and said, oh, no, there's no one there. So they knew that someone was there and they shot them down, but why did they shoot them down? Why did this happen? This is stuff that we don't know yet, and I'd really like to find out really what's going on there, because that's going to be very interesting, to find out why they obviously don't want them to know, who's there. That definitely is going to be very interesting. I'd like to know, really what they're hiding from all of them, because clearly there's something that they're hiding there, and it doesn't seem like they're safe in these quarantine camps. Also, what is going on behind the fence? Obviously, there's a fence that's keeping them there, but I really feel that fence is going to break at some point. Something is going to happen to that fence. We don't know what's going to happen, but I don't see things going well in terms of the fence. But like I said, what I liked about this episode was that it was all based on human interaction and just the way the people are reacting to this, the way that people are reacting to this virus and the apocalypse, things like that, how they're reacting, and that definitely is going to be very interesting, and especially for the rest of the season, it's going to be very interesting to see what ends up happening. I really like seeing the Army as an antagonist here, because it seems like they're doing a good thing, and I wouldn't call them an antagonist, I just call them as people that think they're doing the right thing, but they're really not, and it's not really going to end well for anyone. We'll have to see what happens with that. But that's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. I really, really love this episode. I thought this was by far the best episode of the season. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. I thought this was a really, really terrific episode overall. I like finding out more about Daniel as well. I like that now we know, what's going on with him, how to get out of this and things like that. I thought that was definitely very interesting. To be honest with you guys, I'd like to see them do what they did with, like, Abraham and Michonne and people like that. When they showed how they were before, when they showed, well, that, of course, that was before the apocalypse, but I'd like to see a flashback of Daniel before he came to America. That, I think, would be very interesting, because clearly, like I said, he has been through this before, and I'd like to see what they do with that, because that, I think, would be very compelling, and I think Daniel's storyline is going to become the most compelling. Daniel is about to become, I think, the most compelling character of the show, by far. Also, Ophelia, do you think she's going to continue this relationship with that military man? After what they're doing, I don't think she should. There's clearly something they're hiding that they think is right that's not, and we'll have to see what happens with that. But that's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for the series premiere of Life in Pieces, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.